Sales are easy. It's making the call that's hard. Hi, my name is Dave Gallegos. I've spent the last 25 years in the mortgage industry and a lifetime in sales. In this show, I'll bring that experience, expertise, and the experts I've met to you with actionable advice to improve your sales. It's not magic. You just make the call. Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Gallegos. This is Make the Call. I'm the president of Zenith Home Loans. This is a podcast dedicated to helping sales professionals. I'm in the mortgage business, so obviously focus on loan officers as well as real estate agents. But actually, anybody who's in sales can benefit from these lessons. I believe that all sales success is universal, the fundamentals to success. And Make the Call, the reason I named it Make the Call was simply that you got to make the call if you're going to get the business, right? So you don't have to make the call to ask for business. You could be making the call. This is a really important distinction. Make the call can be like to give. What can you give? And the law of reciprocity kicks in. We'll do a whole episode on that down the road. This is episode number 25. It's pretty exciting. We've been talking the last few episodes about what it takes to be successful in this business at the highest level. And I came up with an analogy that the same fundamentals that apply to a baker baking a cake apply to becoming a really successful loan originator or a really successful real estate agent. There's specific things that you have to do, tasks that you have to complete, and then skills that you have to master. The tasks are for the cake, for the baker, it's the specific ingredients and the right measurements of those ingredients, right? So for a loan officer, it's having conversations and how many conversations. The skill for the baking of the cake relates to the 50th cake is going to be a lot better than the first cake. The skills for the loan officer are the first phone call that you make, the first conversation that you have is going to be a lot worse than the, 5, 6, 7 months from now. If you've been having 10 conversations a day, your conversations are going to be a lot better 6 months from now than they are, on the first day. So it's that same type of mentality. So that same analogy plays through. And then we talked about, why is it such a big deal to surround yourself with the successful minded people, the people that are living the kind of life that you want to live, people that are supportive of what you're doing, people that aren't going to bad mouth that you want to become better. So you got to be careful who you're associating with. You got to be surrounded by an environment and with a company where they're supported and your growth is encouraged and supported financially, and so as well as supported emotionally. And then it's sticking with it. We talked about the last couple of episodes, the well analogies. And so how do you stick with it long enough? Like, that's the big question. Like, because I can tell you that you have to stick with it until, so that was the last episode was called Keep Going Until. So, but where do you find that? Like, how do you get there? Because doesn't it seem like some people have some kind of freaking superpower where they're like, I know that I have felt this many times in my career. It's like, man, how do they keep going? And why can't I keep going? Like, what's the difference between them and me? And so this actually came out of a conversation that I had with a good buddy of mine in the real estate or in the mortgage business. And I had mentioned to him a while back that I had said that I was going to quit drinking during the week. Right. So, my wife and I never used to drink while our kids were growing up, and then our kids left. And then, I don't know, it seems like once all of our kids were gone, there's nothing to do. And so we would, hey, you want to have a drink? Let's have a drink. And the next thing you know, you're drinking every night. And so I don't want to drink every night. I feel so much better. I sleep better and I want to drink a lot less alcohol. So I wanted to quit drinking Monday through Thursday. During the week, I don't want to drink anymore. I want to limit the amount of drinks that I'm going to have. And so I think I had made a commitment that I was going to do that. And then I didn't do it. I would like not drink on Monday. And then I would I'm going to have a drink. What's the big deal? It becomes this stupid habit that doesn't serve us in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to get into that today, but drinking obviously doesn't help us in any way. And then, so we're actually at a coaching conference together in Park City, Utah, to one of Tim Brahim's retreats, great retreat. And somehow we got on the subject of why don't we do the things that we say we're going to do? Right? Man, if you could answer that question and solve for that, why don't you follow through with the things you say you're going to follow through on? Like, you say you're going to have 10 conversations a day, right? In our business, let's keep it simple. Why don't you follow through with that? And I think what happens is you have the best of intentions when you start, but there really isn't beyond, it's a grind to have 10 conversations. I'm not going to lie and make it sound like, oh, it's no big deal. Have 10 conversations. What's the big deal? It's like, that's kind of a grind. You got to tee up who am I going to call? There's a lot more to it. And then what I'm going to talk about. And then maybe you do it 10 the first day and 10 the second day, but then the third day you're like, wow, who are the 10 people? I'm up to 30 people now, and I'm supposed to have 50 conversations in a week and 200 conversations in a month and 2,400 conversations. What the hell am I going to talk about, right? And so it's kind of like drinking, I think, in that, for an alcoholic, what they tell you is that you don't have to think about never having a drink again. You only think about not having a drink today. Just the rest of today, I'm not going to have a drink today. And anybody can not have a drink today. And then tomorrow, it's just like, I don't have to have a drink today. And then you start stacking those days up. I think it's the same thing for us in this, but you just got to figure out what it is that's going to get you to do that. And so as I was talking to my buddy in Park City, I asked him, like, why did I said I wasn't going to drink. And then I was drinking again. Like, why did I do that? That kind of pissed me off. I don't know where I came up with this. I don't know if we came up with this in this conversation, but when you sign up for these coaching programs that you're going to get into, and you're not going to take advantage of what that is you getting the recipe for success, right? You're going to get the ingredients and you're going to get the measurements for the ingredients so that you're going to know what you're supposed to do. And then you're going to get the scripts and you're going to get the processes, and those are the skills that you're going to learn and master over time, over a period of time. And so why is it we don't follow through? What's the secret to following through with the effort that is required to complete? Because it's not going to be get rich quick. It's not going to be easy. And so how do you keep going? And how do you keep going when you're not getting there? And so I came up with something that I call the Zenith 4-step Bulletproof Goal Achievement System. Okay. And there'll be a copy of this in the show notes so that you can use it for yourself. And I would love to talk to people about this, because this has worked wonders for me. And in fact, what's happened, and I'm going to share where I applied it in my life on a personal level, and how it's now become like a no-brainer thing that I don't drink during the week. So I came up with, we're talking, I have an accountability partner whose name is Carl. Carl I met years ago at a Darren Hardy high performance forum. I told you I invested in a lot of personal and professional development things. I think it was like 15 grand to go to that, or 12 grand at the time. Anyway, Carl Wright and I have become not best friends, I suppose, but very good friends. Definitely one of my best friends. We speak to each other every week. We're accountability partners. We check in with each other on a weekly basis. And what we talk about is following through on this. And I was talking to Carl about this, about like, why didn't I follow through? And same thing. He was kind of going through something different in his business as well that he was struggling with. He's a real estate developer. I said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of doing this. I'm not going to do this anymore. So in my conversations with my buddy Carl, I came up with the solution that I was going to create a deal where I said, okay, I am not going to drink Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, or Thursday night. And I'm only going to have X number of drinks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, those 3 days of the week. I'm only have X number of drinks so that I don't go over however many, whatever that number was. And I'm not going to drink Monday through Thursdays. And if I do have too many drinks in a week, you can mail these checks into this. So there's a political party I don't support. Doesn't matter who it is. It's the Republicans. I don't support the Republicans. It's the Democrats. See, now you don't know who I don't support. Anyway, I wrote out 5 $1,000 checks to Carl, and I mailed them to Carl. And Carl has to ask me every week when we check in with each other whether or not I achieved my target, which was to not drink Monday through Thursday and to not exceed the number for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if I do, he has to mail in one of those checks. You know what? I haven't even kind of wanted to, like the first week or two, it was kind of weird to not drink Monday through Thursday. But then after that, it was a layup. And today, now I did that back in October of 23 is when I first started. I guess it was like November of 23. It's now August of 24. It's the last day of August 24. And not drinking Monday through Thursday now is my new habit. Whereas before, my habit was I drink every day. When I say I drink every day, I have a couple of drinks, right? And by the end of the week, I can have more than a couple on a Friday and a Saturday. And so it's just too much. And I don't want to drink that much. I really shouldn't drink at all because I don't know how, like, alcohol doesn't serve us in any way, shape, or form, but I still enjoy it. And so in the process of this, I figured out I called this something, this Zenith 4-step Bulletproof Goal Achievement System, where I came up with this, with this idea. And so here's what it is. It's like, first of all, dream big. That's step one. You have to dream big, which is start by envisioning your ultimate life dream, a nirvana-like goal without worrying about the how. Think about what you want to achieve, have, or become in 5 years. Okay. So that's the deal. So now for me, as this relates to my target of how much I was going to drink, I have really specific health goals and longevity goals for my life. And I know that in order to achieve them, I have to take really good care of myself. So I focus on that. That's part of my dream big. Then I have to break it down and identify the key milestones and actions required to turn my dream into a reality. One of those would be, how much am I drinking, right? Like, my alcohol intake is definitely going to impact my longevity and my health. And so that's easy. I knew that I didn't want to drink Monday through Thursdays. And I have a limit for how much alcohol I want to drink during the week. How many drinks in a week? Craft my action blueprint. So that's easy. It's like, okay, well, here's what I'm not going to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. On Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can't have more than X number of drinks to not achieve the total, so I don't go over how much I'm going to drink in a week. And then I execute a commitment lockdown. This is the secret part right here. This is the part where this is what I think all ultra successful people do that average people don't even consider doing. They create I will succeed no matter what level of personal accountability. I will succeed no matter what level of personal accountability. Now think about that. Think about that statement. I will succeed no matter what personal level of accountability. That means that if you could do that, you could turn everything that you want to do in your life into a superpower. You'd be able to accomplish anything. So I literally wrote these 5 checks out, and my buddy Carl has them. Carl came up with something that he wanted, and that he sent me 5 checks for $1,000 each, and they're all written out to this like horrible organization that somehow supports poaching endangered species in Africa, endangered animals in Africa. I don't know how he found this, but it's coming up with the personal stakes side of this is you coming up with something that would piss you off so much if you gave them. And there's just no way I'm going to give that organization money. That's the level of personal stake that you want to create for this bulletproof goal achievement system. So it's the lock. It's the commitment lockdown. That's the secret to this. So let's say I'm going to go through this for a loan officer. Let's say that you have a dream of accomplishing, you want to become a $100 million producer 5 years from now, which is a completely attainable goal. Step 2, the coaching program you sign up for is going to provide you with all the key milestones and actions that are required to turn your $100 million dream into a reality. Step 3, it should also give you the step-by-step plan for breaking down your goal into manageable tasks and activities that you'll learn how to schedule those activities into your calendar to ensure that you're consistently working towards your dream, right? Step 4 is the step, again, that separates all the achievers from everyone else. You create that environment where you simply cannot fail. So for me, it was this. It was, I'm going to write a check to this political party I don't support. And my friend has to ask me on a weekly basis if I did it. And if I didn't, he has my permission to mail that check in. I'm going to lose $1,000 to an organization I would hate to give $1,000 to. And guess what? That check's never getting cashed. I'm just not going to drink that much. I'm not going to drink Monday through Thursdays. And it really is a simple process. So when you design that lock, the lock can be penalties or it can be a reward. Again, I'm going to have a copy of this in the show notes. It looks kind of like this if you're watching this or unless you're listening, and you can download it. And then I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. But this works. It's amazing how easy it is to get this to work. You identify a meaningful penalty that you would avoid, that you will not rather avoid. Like, I I would hate to give them money. It's like, you can't say, well, I'll give $1,000 to Boys and Girls Club when you like Boys and Girls Club. Well, that's not a penalty at all. That's like actually you doing something that makes you feel good. So you want to do something like my buddy did. It came up, or like I did, where I came up with an organization I would hate to support. And now if it was a reward, and a reward would excite you more than the penalty would, it could be something that taking your family on a dream vacation. Now, here's where you can really leverage your family to help you. It's like, kids, I'm going to take us all to, let's go, like, we're going to go stay in the nicest resort in Hawaii for 10 days next summer. Here's how that's going to happen. If I don't have 10 conversations a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, every week in the month, and if I do that, we're going to be able to take that trip. And so I'm going to take us all on that trip to Hawaii. So I want my family. So this is the power, right? This is where the commitment lockdown is. You get your kids invested in that, and your wife invested in that, or your husband invested in that. And you say, I want you to ask me every day, did I have my 10 conversations so that we can go to Hawaii? I want you to ask me that every day. Put up a sign in your kitchen. Ask mommy or ask daddy, did you have your 10 conversations so we can go to Hawaii? You're not going to let your kids down. You're not going to let your wife down. You're like, that would be humiliating and embarrassing for you to do that. So it's creating that kind of an environment where you can't possibly fail. There's no way you're going to not do the work. It's a couple other things. The accountability, that's the accountability part. You have to have regular check-ins. So I have all of this that you're going to, and then you have to embrace the discipline, right? That's what this comes down to. You've heard this before. Brian Tracy says this, Jim Rohn says this, Darren Hardy says this, is that I think this is a Warren Buffett, a Charlie Munger thing. Discipline in one area of your life leads to discipline in every other area of your life. You'll become a much better person for creating this type of execution and follow through. You'll become a more disciplined person at everything that you accomplish. So let's break it down and take it back to the simple. You sign up for a coaching program because you want to become your dream is to become a $100 million producer. You sign up for a coaching program that has $100 million producers in it. They're going to give you the recipe, and the recipe is going to be the ingredients and the measurements, right? And then they're going to give you the skills that you have to master, and you're going to be able to practice. You're going to do those things on a consistent basis. So the recipe and the ingredients becomes the 10 conversations a day. I'm just using that one. You also have to set 3 appointments a day. You have to have 15 appointments a week. You have to have 15 face-to-face appointments, either on Zoom or in person. Those are all the things that you can tie into the execution, into the commitment lockdown. If you create that type of an environment, there's no way you're going to fail. That's, I think, the secret to the ultra successful and everybody else. The ultra successful just have the ability to commit to something and follow through with it no matter what, because that was my issue. I said, why did I say I was going to not drink and then I'm still drinking? It pisses me off. It pissed me off so much that I said it, that I came up with this, and it's worked, and it's still working today. Now it's like my new habit. I've installed a new habit in my life, and now I don't even have to think about it. That's where this becomes super powerful for you, is that once you've developed that level of discipline, you can apply it everywhere in your life, and you can have an amazing, it changes everything. Again, a copy of this system is going to be in your show notes. And if you ever want to reach out to me and talk to me about it and how to use it, I'm happy to talk about it. I'd love to hear what your commitment lockdown is, because it's really fun. And that's it. That's it for today's episode, everybody. This has been Make the Call, episode number 25. This is going to be called the Bulletproof Goal Achievement System. If you like this, please give me a rating. Please share it with your friends. Again, I'm Dave Gallegos. This is Make the Call. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to Make the Call with Dave Gallegos, brought to you by Zenith Home Loans. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, and share the show with a friend or colleague who would also find value.